Okay, Dr. Shander, I believe you have some comments on accent on academics this evening?
Absolutely. I'm going to introduce our team from Grafton High School. The Spanish 4 classes at Grafton High School collaborated with virtual Spanish 3 classes to create resources for Spanish speakers visiting the Virginia Living Museum. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Ms. Karen Farringer, Grafton High School Assistant Principal. If I could ask you to come forward.
All right, I'd like to introduce Ms. Josie Sevilla, who is the teacher of the Spanish classes, and she's going to take over.
Okay, do I pull this up? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm here to talk about a project that we did with the Virginia Living Museum last year, and we called it Operation Get Spanished. We were providing, our entire goal was to provide materials for Spanish speakers in the community. Ultimately, in all, these are the things that we provided. We provided video overviews of the different galleries. Thanks to a grant from the York Foundation for Public Education, we also got some audio players where we put the audio portion of the videos on the players so that people visiting the museum can listen to audio overviews as they go through the different galleries. We also provided bilingual resource materials for children using the students' original art. There is now a guided overview of the boardwalk when you go through it, describing all of the animals that you're going to encounter along the way in Spanish. And we also provided a Spanish version of the museum map. I want to say that as soon as I started the project, my objective was to try and find out exactly what the museum needed. I didn't want to provide materials that they would be grateful for, but not necessarily something that they needed. So I started the entire thing with a visit from someone from the museum who came out and spoke to the students and told them, this is what we need. And then the students planned it out. I also involved our online classes. I teach Spanish online for virtual high school, and I involved them. They did portions of it as well. And here to explain what the Spanish 4 classes did is Elizabeth.
Hi. So in my class, we did the actual audio files for the audio players, as well as like a video that had some pictures with what we were talking about. So the first step, obviously, was we divided into groups and we tackled which area we were going to talk about. And then we did a lot of background research on specifically what was in our exhibit. Sorry, I keep forgetting that word. So after that, Miss Sevilla was really nice. Like she said, she had the lady come in and she told us all about like what the museum needed. And then we took a trip to the museum itself, and we got to take a ton of pictures and learn all about our specific exhibit. And then we went back, we wrote a script, Miss Sevilla proofread it, so we made sure everything was grammatically correct and something someone would actually understand. And yeah, I mean, we put it all together. It sounded great. I was really proud of it. It was pretty cool. I don't like Spanish, and I still thought it was pretty cool, but...
And Mira here was in the Spanish 4 classes as well, but her group did something a little bit different. She had the children's area, and being that that was her area, they did something a little special. So she's here to explain what she did.
Yeah, so like Professora mentioned, my group did the audio for the Wild and Well part of the museum, which is like the children's play area. And we also made these little bilingual pages, like activities for the kids. And the first obstacle we had with that was the fact that we couldn't use any copyrighted materials, so we actually ended up creating all of our own graphics. You can see on the PowerPoint there, like, I actually drew the pictures, for example, and we made that work out with what we had. And the whole idea behind the bilingual activities is that we have English and Spanish for all of the text on all of the pages. That way, if there is a Hispanic child that wants to play with this, they'll see that it's something that they can understand, and they'll also see the English next to it to help them learn the language. And if there's an American child that sees this, they see, wow, there's this cool second language on the page. Maybe they want to learn more about it. Maybe they want to learn more about Spanish culture. And for me, like, that's the coolest thing about this whole project. It's something that we as high schoolers actually did that is actually applicable in the real world. And people are using this, and we actually managed to make something useful.
And this next slide that I have is an example of the museum map. This was done by the Spanish 3 online classes. What they had to do was, it's not as simple as just translating the map. They had to do a portion at a time throughout the entire year. And then at the end, they also had to compare with one another and decide what translations of the different areas are the best. And they had to listen to all of the audio recordings from the Spanish 4 class and make sure that they were being consistent with the vocabulary that was being used between both. So that was really important. The two classes had to work together. The Spanish class in the traditional classroom and the online class, they had to interact somewhat in order to make this successful. And this shows you the final map, and you'll see where it has audio numbers. As you're going through the museum looking at the map, you can turn to that audio file on the players. Right there. You can turn to that file on the players and listen to an explanation of the gallery. And finally, I also thought I would include, where you can find this information. This is a screenshot of the Virginia Living Museum webpage. If you pull up Visit the Museum and you go to the Special Needs section, it explains exactly what we did there. It says, classes at Grafton High School secured MP3 players through a grant, and it explains everything that we did. You can see pictures of it, and they have all of the audio files are right there online. So they're accessible from home as well. And I also included an article that the Spanish department of the Washington Post, they came in and did the tour, and they did an article on that and posted it.
And just as a former Spanish teacher myself, I was really excited about this when Ms. Sevilla presented the idea. So we've just been very proud of the work our students have done for the community. And even within the school, they had to work on a lot of things that they don't normally get exposed to in a Spanish class. So we just want to thank them for all their hard work, and Ms. Sevilla for coming up with the idea.
I just got,
Got a couple questions.
Questions.
I was told that you might have questions.
Well, first of all, the Virginia Living Museum, been around a long time. Has anyone ever done a project like this for them before?
No.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. I'm sure others will maybe follow in the footsteps now. I loved your honesty. Spanish was something, you're in Spanish 4. But to hear you say that, for whatever reason, Spanish is not one of your favorites, but to hear you say you had a cool time and you really enjoyed it, that means a lot as a school board member, because they brought something to life that triggered something, an excitement for you, and that's what public education is all about. So even though you may have a subject that's not your favorite, but you found a way, or your teacher and your classmates found a way to make it come to life for you. So good job to all of you.
I cannot say how excited I am about this project. I just think it is so awesome. Wow, Mrs. Sevilla, job well done. You've really taken instruction out of the classroom and provided a service for the community and really enriched the lives of these students and given them a different aspect of typical Spanish class. This is awesome. I'm so proud of you all for doing this, and thank you, York Foundation for Public Education, for making the grant possible so you could all do this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Appreciate it.